Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the recovery addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy. The dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case. Dati mihi Anglican po i servant Latinos.
All right, sorry. We have a verdict. We have a verdict. Ring the bells. Oh man, let's see what we got. I'm trying to hurriedly get everything together here. We have a verdict out of the courtroom. Oops, that's the wrong button. Sorry. Let's see. Let's go right here. There we go. All right, we have a verdict. Sorry, guys. Everybody come on in. Take your seats. Be quick. I don't know how quick this is going to come in. We know that ZA is on standby. The court is ready. Yes, we're super excited. Let's turn the volume down just a little bit so you can hear me. We are very excited. Very, very excited. Thank you, Alyssa. You're excited as well. Gifted a membership right off the bat. Congratulations, Michelle Phillips, and thank you, Alyssa, for your support of the channel. Oh my goodness, my heart is going like 100 miles an hour. I am nervous as well. This is amazing. This is what we were waiting for. It's been a long time coming too. Let's see, let's switch back over here. I'm going to have multiple feeds available just in case one drops. Because you know how I am. I'm always paranoid that we need more information. Okay, we've got both feeds going there. Audio is up on this one. Okay. All right. I'm going to edit the name of this so that everyone knows. Watch live. Verdict is in. Okay, here we go. All right. Everyone's saying fast. Heart's beating fast, so nervous. Yes, it's. I'm nervous as well. I said, I believe that this is going to be a guilty verdict. That's what I thought. I don't remember who was first in chat. I'm looking back here, seeing if I can see who it was. Let's see. I know it's a name I recognize. Whoever it is, you need to out yourself, or someone else will out you. Who was first in chat here today for this second hour?
Thanks for the content, Recovery Addict. Fantastic coverage and fun banter.
Thank you. Thank you, Rody, for that. I appreciate the super chat. Thanks for the kind words. Glad we can be here together for this verdict. It's been a long time, a long, quiet time as we wait. Let's see. Seeing where the judge is in another hearing right now and ZA will need 20 minutes to get dressed, says Dilly Pickles. I'm not seeing that. Why am I getting a weird... Getting some weird things happening here. All right. How long did it take? We are, assuming they ended right now at 3. 3 o'clock my time. That's 2 o'clock their time. They started at 9 o'clock their time, which is 10 mine. So 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. That's 5 hours. That's a 10-hour verdict. Does that sound right? 10 hours to reach the verdict, if I did the math right. I'm not great at math, so I might be wrong on that. Give or take an hour, right? It is in. Verdict is in. Let's go full screen on this one. This will be a little more fun. Super source presets, one box there. We'll go here. Bring me down there. Here we go. I'll live down here in the corner right now. We'll keep the judge on full screen. They have to get ZA dressed and over to the courthouse, right? Yes. But they sort of had him on standby. Where do you see the verdict is in, says Lisa? Well, I've got my connections. First of all, one of my gavel hounds, Amber, called me and let me know. I also got notifications myself on some of the ways that I was watching that some of the channels, including the channel that's airing the video originally from the courthouse, has announced that there's a verdict in, that they would know. Let's see. I cannot miss this, Samantha Terry. Yes. Let's see. We're excited to have a verdict, to hear something about what's going on. The jury's been in there for quite a while. I can see the cameras shaking. People are moving in the courtroom because the camera's on a tripod. And so if people are walking around the courtroom, that's when the camera shakes like that. Get this adrenaline rush. Is this what we're addicted to? So nervous. Yes, Kathy, this is it. This is the moment that we've been waiting for weeks, building up to this. Robin Ray, thank you so much for the super chat. For some reason, when you don't put a comment in with it, it doesn't announce it, but I will. Thank you very much. I appreciate the super chat, Robin. Thanks for your support of the channel. Fun breaking news in my house. With all the things that are breaking, we found out we have a broken pipe. Yep, I get to call the insurance adjuster and a plumber and figure out how much it's going to cost to redo all our bathrooms because they're over each other and the one leaked onto the other, and we just discovered it now, and it's awful. Anyway, so hopefully my bad news is not bad news for everybody else. But that's what you have. This is when you buy an old house, this is what you're signing up for. Just to warn you, I bought a home that was built in 1915. I love it. I love this house, and at the same time, I hate it. I absolutely hate it when things break like this. It's frustrating. Oh my goodness!
Thinking from Whitney just sent a super sticker with 49.99.
Whitney, thank you so much. Thinking from Texas. Love the super sticker. It looks like a hippo in a treasure chest. So it looks great. Thank you for your generous support. Thinking from Texas, Whitney. Wonderful. No cinnamon rolls. We're gonna have cinnamon rolls. It was funny. The cinnamon rolls are how we found the leak. Seriously, I'm not kidding. The cinnamon rolls are how we found the leak, because I told Mrs. RA, she was all excited about hitting 1,000 subscribers on her channel, which is amazing. And let's see. Oh, my meeting's ended. Sorry, my Zoom just dropped. Let's see. She was all excited. She's like, "Yes, I'm going to make you cinnamon rolls. That's going to be fine."
Kathy just sent a super sticker with 6.99.
Thank you, Kathy. And so she goes and starts looking in the cupboard. She's like, "I can't find any flour." Right, so we need some flour for the cinnamon rolls, and I'm like, okay, that's good. That's no problem. We're looking around in the pantry in our storage closet, and it's not there. She's like, well, we have some food storage, like some foods we have more long term that we store in this other closet, and we've just barely put it there. We used to have it out in the garage, and we brought it in and put it in here like a month ago, and we never go in that room. You can't see chat on the screen. I'm sorry. Chat is, I'm going to put the chats up right here. First, we had Robin Ray.
Car just sent a super sticker with 9.99.
We had Robin Ray. We had an amazing super sticker from Thinking from Texas, Whitney. Thank you very much for that. John, new member in the gallery. Let's see if that one shows up. Where's that one? There it is. Followed by Kathy with the super sticker here. Appreciate the super sticker there. And the last one was Maggie Carr as well. All of you are excited for a verdict, as I am as well. We've waited a long time for this. Thank you so much for all your generous support of the channel. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Now, so yes, we have news. There is a verdict. And Savas Gun just gifted 5 memberships. So if you haven't got your setting changed, you might want to hurry and do that. Looks like Hold Your Horses, Michelle Wallace, Kib Kitty, Warren, and Cachette all gifted memberships, courtesy of Savas Gun. Thank you so much for your generosity, and congratulations to new members and returning members as well. So here's the story. We've got cinnamon rolls, okay? Because Mrs. RA is super excited about how awesome you guys were, and you got her to 1,000 subscribers on her channel. And she's like, I'm definitely making cinnamon rolls, and that she can't find any flour. So I said, we've got this flour in this closet where we moved to the food storage. It's actually right next to me. I mean, I can almost reach the door from where I'm seated. But we never go in that closet because it's just food, cans of food that we don't open very often. So we haven't been in there in like a month. And she goes in there and she's like, oh, there's water on the wall. It's leaking down the wall. There's water going down the wall. which means upstairs is the upstairs bathroom. Directly below it is the downstairs bathroom. The water is affecting both of them. So it looks like we might have to remodel both bathrooms at the same time in a 1915 home. And so if it weren't for cinnamon rolls, that would still be leaking right now and we wouldn't know. So thank you guys for getting me talking about cinnamon rolls. We need a cinnamon roll emoji. I'm on board with that, Polly. We'll make that happen for sure. Let's see. It's not a frozen pipes thing, Puma. Luckily, this is inside. I think it's not pretty, but called the insurance and they're kind enough to say, oh, if you noticed it, it's been leaking there for a while. Yeah, it's probably not covered by insurance. I'm like, thanks for that good news. Appreciate you. Where do I send my bill this month? We don't know what the verdict is. We don't know. I would say that we have news that there is a verdict. And generally when that is the news, it's not hung. If it's hung, generally the jury would have a question or something that would probably be brought out that way, and the judge would address it. So I'd be very surprised if it were a hung jury at this point. Just remember, it was a sudden burst, not a slow leak. I
Heather
wish.
Barnett just sent a super sticker with 1.99.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you so much. Love the Fox super stickers. They are wonderful. Hung is not a verdict, right? We're waiting for ZA to arrive at the courthouse. The lawyers all have to be there as well. I'm not sure. They probably all had representation there, but they're probably all going to be there. And we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so many gifting people. This is just amazing. You guys are incredible. The let's see, 6,000 when the pipes froze. We had a. This is the last of the cast iron pipes. I think that's what we're going to be replacing in the house, because this is virtually all the plumbing other than the kitchen happens right here above each other. And so apparently the house is getting a huge upgrade. Great timing, seriously. Susie says, what's the name of RA's Beautiful Brides channel? She needs one more member. She goes by Homeschool Ground Zero on YouTube. And thank you so much for everybody who went over there. Old houses are like this. Oh my goodness. Get PEX pipes, my two-story. Yes, we're putting PEX in everywhere we replace it. We're putting PEX in. We're trying to build a garage into an Airbnb. We might have to live in it while we get this renovated. Can you see 8 people living in an 800 square foot Airbnb? Oh no, that would be awful. We'll figure something out. Don't worry about it. We'll be all right. Nowadays, insurance response is it's not covered. Then you go back and forth a few times, and finally they say they'll have to go to mediation, and you pay for it. Insurance is worthless. I'm going to have to rent a Kaibo. Oh, man. It's funny. Kaibo is a scout term, a Boy Scout term, I remember. It stands for keep your bowels open. So we're talking about a porta potty. No, we'll be okay. We've got options. Let's see. He won't be sentenced today. If guilty, needs to have a psych evaluation first. Is that a requirement in Wisconsin for the psych eval? Because there has been nothing raised. I mean, it was different with Darrell Brooks, because that was raised at some point that there could be a psychiatric issue in the situation. And every time the camera shakes, I think we're going to get the video back. Let's see. There's the sounds. Turn them up a little bit. All right. I'm having weird. Let's see. We need this one right here. I'm going to pause this one. 7, show me that. Let's pause and shut that down. Okay, back to multi-view. Okay, we're good. There's a long story about about this house and insurance. This would be our second claim. We had one claim right after we moved here, because my youngest son decided to take a a drinking cup and turn it upside down in the sink, which completely covered the drain, and then turned the water on when we were upstairs. He was downstairs, and he filled it up, and it just ran and overflowed and flowed over the floor underneath. It swelled the floorboards, and it shorted out the sink. Yes, I said that right. You didn't hear me wrong. It shorted out the sink because our sink was a 1950s General Electric showroom kitchen, all-in-one appliance. It's like a 12-in-1 appliance. It was I think it was about 12 feet long, had a solid stainless steel countertop, one long countertop, and included in this appliance was a stove, a dishwasher, a sink, some under cabinet cupboards and everything. And right underneath the sink, the genius who designed it decided that's the best place to put the circuit box for all the devices that were there. And so the water overflowed the front of the sink and shorted everything out. We called General Electric saying, hey, can you repair this? I mean, we hated it. It was ugly. And they said, we don't have any record of even making that. And I said, that's because it's, from the 1950s. And they didn't even have records of having this device, or selling this showroom kitchen. It was all metal cabinets. The cabinets up matched the bottom. With the refrigerator actually hung on the wall, like a picture was the advertisement. It was a refrigerator freezer that was mounted on the wall above the cabinet level. The entire set. It was a show kitchen from the 1950s. Anyway, that resulted in us getting a new kitchen. Welcome to the gallery. Thank you from Texas, Whitney. Appreciate you becoming a member. You did it backwards. You gave a massive super chat first, and then became a member. But thank you so much. I appreciate that. Appreciate you doing that. Let's see. The kitchen system would sell for a couple $1,000s here. Rando, I tried to sell it. I had people from California that were interested in it, and the only other one we were able to find that sold that set, the cabinets, the fridge, and the kitchen appliance, sold for $65,000. And I put it up. I listed it to see if anyone was interested, and nobody could come and get it, and we had to throw it away. It got scrapped. We had no room. We couldn't keep it. The city was mad at us for having debris outside the house. They were just going to fine us, and we had to get rid of it. It was painful, but it was beautiful, and at the same time, not what I wanted in my kitchen, and not what Mrs. R.A. wanted. PSI, pre-sentence investigation, not psych. Okay, I spelled it wrong. Most major felonies require it in Wisconsin by judge's order. They go over your whole background. Okay, wonderful. So that will happen. Sally, thank you. Welcome to the gallery. Appreciate you joining as well as J-Jax. Welcome to the gallery as well. And we had Ivan Victor with his comment was his 2-month mark. You see, he's now on his 3rd month of membership on the channel. Thank you, Ivan. Appreciate you being a big fan of the channel and being so awesome. Ivan's birthday was yesterday. It's still happy birthday to you, Ivan. Please read my comment above. News on Judge, says Harley Girl. I'm having problems scrolling up. Hang on one second. There we go. Harley Girl, where's that comment?
I'm not a camel.
There it is. Judge is another hearing right now. Plus, they said it takes 20 minutes for him to get dressed and over to the courthouse. That is Zachariah. Okay, thank you very much, Harley Girl. That makes sense. I'm having trouble with my mouse. It's triggering the middle mouse button, and so it won't let me scroll up to see messages easily.
I'm not a cherry.
Your kitchen should have had a celebration of life ceremony at least. It was a brief ceremony. One day I'll show you pictures because it was astounding. When we moved here, the kitchen. First of all, we walked through, and this is a funny story. I bought this house without Mrs. R.A. having ever seen it. We knew we were going to move out here. We didn't know where to, but we wanted to move to North Carolina. We just felt that was where we needed to be, and we looked up 9 houses on Zillow. Okay, Mrs. R.A. and I were sitting in our living room on the iPad. We look up 9 houses. 9 of them are interesting, and they're all in the eastern North Carolina area. And so we buy a plane ticket for me and fly me out here, and it's just me. She's back with the kids at home. And I went to 8 houses, and every single time I pulled up to the house, I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't know how they made it look so good. That was clearly Photoshopped. The Zillow pictures are not what the house looks like. It's bait and switch. The neighborhood, from this angle, it looks great. From the other angle, you're right next to the city dump type thing. It was awful. Every house we looked at that was in their price range, which was limited. We had a limited selection. Every house was terrible. And then we came to this house, and it just felt right. As soon as I pulled in the driveway, and I called Mrs. Ray and said, I think this is it. And she said, okay, go ahead and buy it. Had not seen it. Had not seen the house. She did not see this house until we flew out here with the family to move here.
Done a great job. Everybody's been here
You're
with a
talking about
couple of
stuff that
minor
is not
incidents.
relevant.
Have been wonderful participants in terms of maintaining silence and dignity and not disrupting the proceedings at all. This, of course, is among the most critical moments of the trial and may create the greatest feelings of one way or another, where you feel a need to react in some way. You may not do so.
That's Sadie there in the sunglasses with the Cubs shirt on.
And as you can see, there's plenty of force here.
It looks like a lot of Cubs fans.
And if there's any kind of behavior that is in the least bit disruptive, without even needing to hear anything from me, the sheriff is here in person, and you will be removed from the court, and you would be subject to arrest if the incident were serious enough. I don't think we'll have anything like that, but just so you're aware. In addition, if you do not feel that you can remain in here regardless of the outcome, then you need to leave now.
I believe Rosalia was a Cubs fan.
I'm not going to permit a massive outflow of people at any point during the proceedings. So unless you're totally confident that you can react or not react in any way, I would suggest you leave right now. Otherwise, you're perfectly welcome to stay. And is there any reason why we can't take the verdict at this time?
No, Your Honor.
No.
Wait, that's what's reported to me.
There's Zach.
Their verdict, so.
He's sitting up. He's not slouching right now. So the judge has heard a message that they've reached a verdict. Everyone's standing out of habit. They have not previously stood as the jury's come in and out.
Come down, please.
Yes, sir.
Wait,
Thank
maybe
you.
they did. Was this the courtroom where they did? I thought they didn't. If at some later point, if this is a conviction, and some later point for some bizarre reason beyond science and everything else, Rosalio ends up being alive and shows up, his conviction would be overturned. I'm sure the governor or somebody would step in. It would be pretty quick work, and he would get out. Imagine everyone in the courtroom, like Michael Scott. It's happening, everyone stay calm. That's you. That's a funny clip. That's highly appropriate. That's exactly how I feel inside. Nicole looks very confident. She does. Zach's tie is a little off-center. It looks like he hurriedly got ready for this. We can hear the jury coming in right now. I will say, just a reminder, those who are here for the first time, this is a pretty friendly channel. Let's keep no personal attacks or anything. We want to watch this together and do so in a way that's not really, no trolls. If you're a troll, just do what the judge did. There's other ways to watch. This is a fun place. I'm glad you found the channel. But let's watch this together. Our last poll, we had 60% of chat roughly.
You may be seated.
That felt that would be a guilty vote.
All right, members of the jury, have you elected a presiding juror? Yes. Would you state your name? No, well, we don't need to do that. Has the jury reached a verdict as to each count? We have. Would you hand all of the papers to
so
the...
no hung jury. They've
Vail,
reached the verdict
please.
on every count. The sheriff is on standby. As soon as the verdict's read, you're right. The handcuffs will go on right away. Right. If it's not guilty, he cannot be tried again. Double jeopardy applies. The jurors have the final word. Whatever happens here, that is the result. That's how our system works. He's at this moment, he's not guilty in the eyes of the court. Although we might have our own opinions, the jury gets to decide right now. The judge is flipping through the pages, reading the results, just making sure the paperwork is done correctly. And once he's done, either he or the clerk will be reading this. Zach is...
The defendant will rise, face the jury, and hearken to its verdicts.
Bring the jury.
I'm going to turn off sound effects for the rest.
Zachariah Joseph Anderson. As to the first count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of stalking Sadie Beecham as charged. As to the second count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of stalking Rosalio Gutierrez as charged. As to the third count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of intentional homicide of the first degree as charged. As to the fourth count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of hiding a corpse as charged.
That's all four. That's a clean sweep.
Oh, I put it in the wrong stack. Yeah, you may be seated. Members of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts? You have heard the clerk reading verdicts finding the defendant guilty as to each count of the information. I'm going to pull you by seat number 1 through 6 across the top, 7 through 12 across the front. If you agree with each and every one of these verdicts, finding the defendant guilty as charged, please respond by saying yes. If there is any of the verdicts with which you do not agree, even one, please respond by saying no. Were these and are these now your verdicts? Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6? Yes. No. 5?
Yes.
Okay. 6? No, 7. 7.
Yes.
8? Yes. 9? Yes. 10? Yes. 11? 12?
Yes.
All right. Any further requests?
That was unanimous polling.
Not from the state.
No, Judge.
All right. Folks, I want to thank you for your service in this case. I could not have asked for a more cooperative, pleasant jury to work with. And in no way am I commenting whatsoever on the outcome of the case. In terms of the length of the case and what the original expectations were, some of the interruptions and long breaks, and I could go on. You have been I've never worked with a more patient and cooperative jury, and it's been a true pleasure for me to do that. And this is far more important than most people realize. I mean, our entire freedom in this country is dependent upon people like you who take time off at great sacrifice to perform this service to their fellow citizens. And it's a guarantee of freedom against oppressive government that other countries don't have. And it's because of people like you that it's kept strong and handed down to our children and the generations which follow us. So there is no way I could adequately express the gratitude we have for you folks. And I want to advise you that you're never under any obligation to discuss your service on the case with anyone. You're welcome to. There are no restraints in terms of how much or how little you want to discuss it. Sometimes people will contact you. Very rarely some of the lawyers sometimes will contact people and just ask for pointers or whatever. Sometimes the media will. I haven't seen a lot of that lately, but keep in mind that you're welcome to talk or welcome to say, I don't care to do that. And you're right either way, whichever way you decide. There is only one possibility that you would ever be required to answer any questions about your service here. That's very remote. I've been in the criminal courts over 50 years. I've only had one case where that occurred, and it was a very minor matter. So I would not expect that you would be asked to do that. If that did happen, that request would come directly from the court and would be a court proceeding here in the open court. Other than that, you don't have to answer anybody's question if you don't want to. You're ineligible for jury service for 4 years.
Wow.
You've already done.
They want to know if they could have a lifetime.
A lifetime exemption. That I can't do, but you certainly have earned one, if that's what you wanted. But I'm hoping that maybe one or more of you may have enjoyed it enough to want to participate again. But in any event, for 4 years, you shouldn't be contacted about jury service. And go with our greatest gratitude and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
So the jury is going to be dismissed here. You see the sheriff moving with the handcuffs
papers
here
for
right
work
now.
or anything,
There
just
they
see the
are.
bailiffs.
This has been an interesting court, mostly because the judge played our live stream during the court. For those that are new here, we got about 4,000 people here. It was a bit surreal. Just Friday of last week, the judge opened up his laptop and played the audio from my live stream in the court, and there are indications he may be following along as well on his laptop, which is just unbelievable. It's interesting.
Mr. Gravely.
Judge, I'd move to revoke bond and ask the court to set a sentencing date.
Defense?
Judge, we would be asking the court to enter judgment notwithstanding the verdict.
Okay, this is a procedural
All right,
thing. That
the
means
state's motion will be granted. The defense motion is denied.
Okay.
And set a date for sentence. Pre-sentence investigation is ordered. The defendant's bond is revoked.
that $750,000 bond, which he had not been able to meet.
May 17th. Any more time for CSR?
I think we want more time. The defense is going to want to prepare our own sort of memorandum.
This is for the PSI they're talking about as far as scheduling that. Zach is being cuffed right now.
So the week of, for instance, the May 29th, 2 more weeks from there? Maybe late that week?
No, I have a trial in Oconto County.
I have a trial also.
How about the week before, May 22nd?
I love the attorney's calendaring.
I have a trial then too.
Yeah.
Maybe late in the week? Very, very late in the week, maybe?
How about June 12th?
What about June 8th?
Trial.
June 9th?
Everyone's got trials. Wow.
How about the 15th
You know,
in the morning?
Just realize yes, this is a long delay.
June 15th is a Thursday.
This is a long delay for
Could you do the
sentencing.
16th?
I could do the 16th as well.
Well, this is going out a little bit far. If we could go back to May, was that May 16th available?
It is for us.
We have a court trial that morning.
We go.
For the afternoon.
So
Well, we can adjust
May.
that trial. Let me look at the date.
So May
Although it
16th.
must be good.
Does it work for you?
No, what's the date? Yeah, that
Like 1:30?
should be all right.
1 or 1:30?
That's fine, either. Either works for the
Either
defense.
1 or 1:30, Judge?
Whatever the clerk says. I don't manage. Unless I have to do with the calendar, the more likely things are to come off correctly.
This is true.
Madam Clerk, that is what you said, right? Okay.
All right, we have. It seems like a long wait, especially if it goes to May or June for the sentencing. That's all going to be
anything else?
time served. Credit for time served.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
No.
Good day.
They're asking the civilians to remain seated. Probably will.
Oh. Yeah.
He wants to talk. He said he wanted to talk with something. I'm not sure exactly what. We can, for those of you who have been with us for this whole trial, thank you. For those who just found us here today, this is what we do every day. We follow trials like this and provide commentary in a fun setting. The DA there talking to Sadie. As they're talking this over. Obviously, Sadie is probably very pleased with the outcome of this. We've got Ivan Victor, one of the friends of the program, calling in on the burner phone right now. Ivan, did you watch the Senate's come in live with us here?
Yes, I just kind of wanted to discuss, having been there, having been sentenced in Wisconsin, even though I did have a federal case, I also have been sentenced to prison in Wisconsin before too, and so I just figured I could give a little insight as to what exactly will happen to Zach now that he has been sentenced, if anybody cares.
Yeah.
So basically, the reason, first of all, people are like, why don't they sentence him now? Why don't they sentence him now? Like when Mark Jennings, sometimes they do that, like with Murdoch, but in Wisconsin, you are awarded what's called a PSI, which is a pre-sentence investigation. And what that means is that on major felonies in Wisconsin, before they will sentence you to your case on major felonies, they do what's called a PSI, where they look over your entire background. There have been PSIs where they go to your wrestling coach, your 8th grade counselor. They literally go into your entire background, employers.
That's going to take some time.
Right. That's why it gets, exactly, and so that's why it's months off, because they literally dig through everything. They go through like child psychology, like all your unsealed juvenile records. All of that stuff gets considered when you are sentenced in Wisconsin to major felonies. And so that is why now usually a PSI, the only person that can waive the PSI is a judge. If the judge orders it, it has to happen. So I heard a couple people ask, can't the defense waive it? Can't the prosecution waive it? No, that is the judge's order. That is the law in Wisconsin. And so what will happen to Zach now is that even though he has been condemned, or not condemned, but sentenced or convicted, he will remain in the Kenosha County detention facility, Kenosha County Jail, basically, until
pending
his sentencing.
Yeah, and that
Correct.
sentence for him. You guys do not have a death penalty in Wisconsin. It's been over 100 years since the last time someone was executed in Wisconsin. So the maximum he can face is life without parole.
Yeah, we don't even have it on the books anymore. And so yes, there is no possibility of that. And so what will happen now is that he is about to he will go back. He's probably going to get moved. He was probably in like a general population pod he's probably going to get moved to like what's called a two-man cell in the county jail. Every county jail has them. They're for your higher risk inmates, people who are facing boatloads of time, just because now he becomes a much higher security risk. Okay, he now is in that status of nothing to lose, right? They don't want to put somebody with nothing to lose next to a drunk driver who's got 30 days. It's not safe. It's not reasonable. It doesn't make any sense. So he'll probably get moved from his dorm into a two-man pod until his sentencing comes about in May or June or whatever they said it was.
Right.
Once he gets sentenced, whatever it ends up being, he will get transferred on the next bus to Dodge Correctional Facility in Waupun, Wisconsin. And Dodge Correctional Facility is DCI is where every male prisoner in Wisconsin who gets sentenced to prison does their intake. It's usually a 10 to 16 week process where they do all your screening, they do all your medical, they do your dental, they check your eyes, they give you all the tests you could think of, and then they classify your status based on the severity and length of time that you're going to be doing. And so it's usually about a 3 to 4 month process at Dodge before they finally staff you out. And then he will be sentenced to one of the not even handful. We have 3 or 4 max security prisons in Wisconsin. He'll either be sentenced to Green Bay. He will be sentenced to Portage, which is Columbia. That's where Dahmer went. Columbia Correctional Institute, or Waupun. So Waupun actually has 2 different prisons. They have Dodge, which is the intake, and then they actually have Waupun, which is the oldest serving max prison in the state.
Yeah.
So he will go to one of those 3.
Awesome. Ivan, I appreciate you providing the insight, being a local up there and having had an inside view in a past life of the experience that ZA is going through right now. Thank you for calling in and sharing that with us. Appreciate you, Ivan.
Absolutely. Have a good day, guys.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Ivan calling in on the burner phone. Yeah, that is interesting. That's exactly where ZA is going. That it does seem like a long wait for sentencing. But realize once he's convicted, the whole speedy trial thing, it disappears. There's no longer that same time crunch. We need to move this forward type thing. It's gone. The state can work at whatever speed they need to, and then anytime he serves in the meantime, I mean, obviously they're not going to hold him forever without sentencing. But in the meantime, that will just apply as comes off his sentence as time served. Under Your Scars says, thank you for commentary coverage. Good job, jury. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that very much from Canada. Good to have you here with us. Got another couple super chats in there as well that I was not able to click on in a timely manner. One from Andy Cutright for the tip jar, or his tip jar. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate that, my friend. Thanks for doing that. Appreciate your support. The burner phone is going nuts with messages from you guys who either agree or don't agree with the outcome, as the case may be, as always the case. A couple people are asking about the Sarah Boone case as that's coming up. Sarah Boone is the case in Florida with the girl who zipped her boyfriend in a suitcase and left him there. She says she didn't intend for him to die. She says there was a finger's room of space. It wasn't zipped up all the way, but she went upstairs, leaving him there, and went to sleep. There is a small issue that she between zipping him up and leaving him and going upstairs, she filmed him struggling to get out of the suitcase, begging for breath, begging to be let out, saying he can't breathe. And that video was found on Sarah Boone's phone. That she still is going to court. She's not pleading guilty. She says she didn't intend for him to die and thus should not be guilty of the second-degree murder she's charged with. That case is coming up. We have a hearing in that case on March 31st. And it's a pretrial hearing to make sure everything's on schedule for an April 10th start date. We will be following that case. Hopefully that date holds. We're really hoping that holds. If not, we'll find something else until then. It might be moved out another month or so because they have had a couple experts that they've had to pay for. The court has approved like $10,000 for a background investigation or for a battered wife expert to come in for her defense and things like that. So we'll see. On the 31st, what the hearing decides on that case. Hopefully that might be our next big case. We do have a couple others we can watch. I know we've got a few going on in process right now. We've got the Aiden Fauci hearing was going on. We've got Gwyneth Paltrow was happening. We've got the Ice Cream Man murder also down in, I believe, Florida as well. If I got that right, I think it's Florida. But several things happening. We're not going to jump straight to that just yet. I'd love to take a couple calls if anyone would like to call in on the burner phone. If you need the burner phone number, you can just type !burner in chat, and the bot will respond with the burner number, and you can give us a call. Just remember, this is a family channel. We like to keep it nice and clean. I realize we've got some new people here who aren't familiar with the fact that that even though we can disagree on things, we can still be friends at the end of the day, and that's how we sort of run things around here. So I'd ask that you please keep that in mind with any comments if you do call. And we do have one coming in right now.
Call from Rachel Wood.
Rachel, you're on with Recovery Addicts. How are you doing today?
Hi, Recovery Addict. Good afternoon. I wanted to, I feel like there's many victims in this because not only did Junior lose his life, but Sadie and their children lost a father.
Yes.
Which, it really impacts more than, just the obvious victims. And I really feel for her children right now. Children don't understand like adults do. Their brains aren't developed. And so I really feel for them. And I want real quick, I know we're not talking about this right now, but I listened to the Valday lawyer put up his reasonings for why the death penalty shouldn't be. And what I learned briefly is that there's not enough medicine to put people to sleep, which means when we go to the gentleman that killed the college students,
Brian Koberger. Yeah.
Yes, because they're talking about, he needed a death penalty lawyer, there will not be enough medicine to put them to sleep, and their idea is it would be a firing squad.
Yeah, and Utah has a firing squad as well. It's a form of capital punishment that very few states offer still. Ooh. But that's crazy, the idea. But seriously,
that's a tough one to swallow.
It is.
So I didn't want to break away too much from that, but
yeah, I can tell you a little bit about that. The way that works, the firing squad, because who has a firing squad on standby, right? How do you carry that out? Some inmates, because of religious beliefs, actually prefer a firing squad and have asked for this firing squad as their method of execution.
Wow.
It has to do with a belief that blood has to be spilt for blood type thing.
Okay.
And so they'll ask for that. And the way the firing squad operates, at least in Utah, is it's carried out by generally members of law enforcement, usually in the corrections department. One of the questions on the application to work in the Utah Department of Corrections is basically, if you were asked to shoot someone, would you? Because some of the people have to be in that position to make that decision. The people who are on the firing squad are all volunteers. They choose. No one is forced to be on the firing squad. But the way it works is you have the number of weapons. I believe it's like 6 or 7. One of them has a live round, and the rest have blanks.
I have heard this.
And so
they won't have to deal with the rest of their life knowing they did that. They don't know who exactly did it.
Yeah,
but they're all willing to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough decision, and there are people who believe just as we do. They're like, we love to see an ardent defense for an accused. We like to see the justice be served. There are people in the corrections who say this is just as important to carry out the final step of justice, to have the system in place. But it's bizarre for so many people that we think of lethal injection as being the humane way, and we can get into that debate somewhere else. I realize it's political.
That could be long down the line. My brother worked in corrections, and I could tell you he would probably be one of the ones that would be willing to do that.
Yeah. Two blanks and the rest, everything else. I appreciate the update. Rachel, thank you very much for calling. I appreciate that. We're going to go ahead and let you go.
Thank you. I've been watching in the background. My puppy was really sick. He's doing better now. He's back to his normal dog. But I've been in the background watching.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Good to talk to you. We'll see you in chat.
Congratulations on 9,000.
I know we are getting close to 10,000. I know,
it's amazing.
Let me just do a quick check here. I'll share this with you while you're on the phone. Let me see what our numbers are right now.
Your growth is well deserved. It is such a amazing community, and that one that I'm proud to be part of. And I don't think a lot of people say that when they're just a subscriber on YouTube or a monthly subscriber. But I really feel like we have a really amazing community. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
created that platform.
All right. Thank you.
So where are we at?
We're at 9,503.
Yeah.
9,506. It keeps going up.
Oh, yeah, you're getting there. And if
awesome.
you follow the aiding sentencing, should be either like today or tomorrow. I bet you'll hit it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Thank you so much, Rachel.
You're gonna hit it.
Appreciate you
Thank
calling
you.
in. We'll see you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, the phone line's open again. Thank you very much, Rachel, for calling in. I appreciate all you who are subscribing. It means the world to me. Press conference. Do you want us to take the press conference? Let's see.
On the other side right there?
Let me take this full screen. Sorry, I've got the wrong thing selected.
Marcus?
Okay. So clearly, this is prosecution press conference.
Jessica, I don't know if you want to just start off by saying, this is a culmination of a years-long effort.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry,
I'm more than happy to do that. Yeah, this is a culmination of almost 3 years worth of efforts.
Got it fixed now.
We owe so much gratitude to the 15-plus law enforcement agencies that investigated this, to the original prosecutors on it, Angelina Gabrielle, who was the deputy district attorney in our office at the time. She tirelessly was not willing to let this go, and so she was, Celia was working hand in hand with her to get this charged. And then from the hundreds of officers to the thousands of man hours to Sadie to every person who showed up for this, for Pocho, it's a culmination of thousands and thousands of hours, and we couldn't be more happy that the jury came to the verdict they did. They gave it careful consideration, and we're so thankful that they stayed with us over the last almost 4 full weeks when they only thought they'd have to serve for 2. But this really is a testament to, I think, good winning out over evil here, and the jury being able to look past the fact that we still, to this day, don't know where Pocho is, but we know that even in death, he was able to leave behind enough to convict Zachariah Anderson, and for that, we're so thankful. There's a lot of gratitude, and I will let, obviously, Celia take it from here, as she spearheaded this, and she did so much to make sure that her son is not forgotten, and it's very clear, based on all the people in the courtroom today, that that will never happen.
I just, hello, I just want to thank everyone that showed for support for my Pocho and the family over the years, either through postings and showing up here in court during trial, and especially during closings and waiting for a verdict. People have lives, they have jobs, they have children, and yet they were here waiting with us for Pocho. So I want to thank them. When it goes to law enforcement, I will, Jessica has already said that what all they did, and I've always maintained that I was always very grateful to law enforcement agencies that had been investigating this case, everything short of finding my son. And so now we look for him. Any type of remain or any evidence that we can find of where my Pocho is, I ask the public to please be vigilant and be watchful if they see anything. So please report it. Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about your thoughts right now after hearing the verdict, and maybe some of those thoughts?
She's saying, can you talk about your thoughts after hearing the verdict?
While the jurors were deliberating, I was very anxious, being familiar with waiting for verdicts, but now it was so personal. This was my son. So I was overthinking it, are they doing this, are they doing that? I was very anxious, but a message to the jurors is that I'm grateful to them that they were listening to the evidence that the state presented and to the testimonies that were given. And I am eternally grateful, my husband and I, our family, for their verdicts, and that Rosalio, my Pocho, has finally have justice, at least in the court of law.
This morning I talked to you for a little bit, and you told me that you prayed for justice and you prayed for his body to be brought back to his loved ones.
Right.
You have one of your prayers answered right now.
Yes.
How does that feel?
It feels wonderful. It feels that God is good, and that God is watching over us and watching over my Pocho, and that some justice, the justice that I was waiting for these 3 years, has come true. It's here. We just heard it a few moments ago.
And you sat in court about 4 weeks straight, watching the man who killed your son. How difficult was that to remain so composed and so thoughtful throughout this whole trial?
I did it because I respect the court, for one thing, but I'm representing my son, and I don't want to let him down, not even in death. You know, when he's gone, I think I got my strength from him, trying to represent him to the best, because he was such a wonderful son. Amen. And father, and friend, and people showed up. Pocho was loved. Amen. Pocho was loved, and so I think that helped.
Celia, early on when we met by phone nearly a year ago, when people were looking for Rosalio, and I know in talking with you then, it seemed like each day dragged on, and that each day didn't know if there would be.
He's asking about a year ago.
What would happen. How does that contrast to where we are today?
How does it contrast with where we are today when they were looking for Pocho a year ago?
I felt in my heart that justice would be served. I always felt that. But I also know the unpredictability of jurors, you know, but I feel that they listened to the state's evidence and to the testimonies, and they realized that Zachariah Anderson had murdered my son.
Can you explain the ribbons you were all wearing?
Who can talk to that? Oh, there you go. Huh?
So the red and black is symbolizing of murder victims.
The red and black symbolizes murder victims.
Bringing awareness to their families.
Bring awareness to the families.
That this person had when they were alive.
How much respect they had when they were alive.
When they're gone.
And how much they had when they're gone.
Selena Mythos.
Can you spell your first and last?
SELENA
What's your relationship with Rosalio?
He was like family. I grew up with his uncle. We were really close. Him and my mom were.
This was a very contentious trial. There was a number of times where the jurors were sent out of the room.
Talking about the contention in the trial and the times the jurors were sent out.
Any concerns? Did that bring up any concerns for you, for anyone to?
Jessica, you want to answer?
I mean, I don't know what your concerns. Obviously, this trial had more stopping and starting than I think anything I've been a part of, and I know District Attorney Gravely echoes that sentiment. But there's always concern because it's someone making a decision about evidence, but thankfully with this group of people, and especially because she's obviously been in the system in terms of working with the system, we've always been able to have very candid conversations about what is going on, how we perceive it's going to happen. District Attorney Gravely's been doing this about I'm not going to age him here, but 34 years roughly, give or take. And so he has a very good handle on being in front of Judge Schrader, knowing what's coming in terms of being able to prepare people. So there were a lot of curveballs here, but we knew that legally speaking we had solid footing on a lot of these issues, and so we went in with confidence, although obviously it was touch and go there for a couple of minutes on some different issues. But ultimately we got in the evidence we needed to get in, and the jury curveballs here. But we knew that legally speaking we had solid footing on a lot of these issues, and so we went in with confidence, although obviously it was touch and go there for a couple of minutes on some different issues. But ultimately we got in the evidence we needed to get in, and the jury was able to make the right decision. Which
we have a guilty verdict. We can go back and watch that if you'd like. There was very little reaction.
Well, I think just having the support of friends, family, people that I don't know, I think just that really helped give us the strength to get through it. Yeah.
Sadie, if you care to talk about this, I mean, this is something that you probably never expected that you'd be drawn into.
Another question for Sadie here.
Based on some texting back and forth in February
course not, or would have expected this. But again, I'm just grateful to everyone who supported and just waited for the truth.
The question was about texting back in February and expecting this. Talking about the reward for the remains of finding Pocho.
Hunting or hiking across the state, if they see anything, report to law enforcement. I guess we're going to remind you to do that going forward this season, right?
Yes, there remains a $10,000 reward for any information. It was leading to the conviction of Zachariah Anderson. Maybe that reward remains there for any remains of my boy, if he's found, if he's found. So I asked for hunters, hikers up north and those counties that I'm sure that I feel that Zachariah Anderson was most comfortable and most familiar with, that is where he disposed of my son.
So you spent
All right.
the last year here since the trial was first supposed to start. What's your plans next?
No, I've been here longer. Yes, I'm going to stay here. I have my grandson, Juliet, and I work at the DA's office in Milwaukee. So I still anticipate being here another few years, and now I can concentrate on my boy and doing some of those search parties myself and through friends.
I didn't realize she worked at the DA's office in Milwaukee.
You want to say anything,
We're
Miller?
all wearing Cubs because it was requested or encouraged by Celia here, and he was a diehard fan, and he would, he always brought the energy to any game, and and honestly, it's not just a game. He brought very positive energy to everything he did, and that's why we're all here, and we ain't going nowhere, and we stuck it out, and we found the truth, and we all believed that this was the truth, and now it's proven. So yeah, thank you to everybody who played a role in this. It's incredible. He was the best friend I ever had, and I miss him dearly, and I know we all do, but this is a huge step right here to give us as a collective the closure that we all deserve. So thank you.
What we're seeing here we did not see in the trial. We got very...
Yeah, my name is Jeremy Kipp.
We got very little a picture of
K-I-P-P.
Rosalio throughout the trial.
Might as well be brothers, but it's my best friend. I've known him for 20-something years, just like a lot of us here have. Maybe even more for a lot of us. There's family and friends here, but it's all about loyalty, and good friendships are hard to find, but we got them right here. Thank you.
I think this is it. I think they're wrapping up here.
Thank you.
Okay. So they're coming to an end right there. I'm just getting some hugs as people are leaving here.
Trust me, we spent quite a bit of time on that Sunday before prepping all sorts of things that we would be asking.
I love the little hot mic right there at the end. Okay, so we're done there. I'm going to kill the mics there. Thank you to all those who gifted memberships during that. I didn't want to interrupt the statements by the family and attorney and everything. So just appreciate that. I'm trying to scroll up to see if I can access it. I can't. The only one I can see is Thinking from Texas. Whitney gifted 5 memberships at the end. I apologize for missing the other ones. Thank you so much, and congratulations to all the new members. This is a fun place. I realize we've got some conflicted opinions. A lot of us came to a conclusion throughout this trial, or were able in our own minds to determine how we felt about the defendant and his guilt and innocence. And now, half half of them are, half of us roughly feel that the outcome wasn't what we expected. So I appreciate you guys keeping it civil here. There's always another trial. We will watch that. We're learning as we go. We learn about each other. We learn about court cases. We learn about the whole process and a little bit about crime as well. So I appreciate you all for being here. If you do like this community, if you like what we do here, if you like to watch true crime and hear our virtual courtroom, the Court of Public Opinion, I would encourage you and ask that you click the subscribe button and ring the bell and come back and join us often. This is a fun group to watch court with. We do this every day. I've been doing this since Darrell Brooks' trial. Way back then, the first day, there were 13 of us here that had a great time together, and since then it's grown. The peak today, we had over 4,000 people here. It seemed all talking at the same time. I apologize. The reason chat goes so fast is when you're a member on the channel, you aren't subject to the timeout delay of chat. And we have so many members. We have so many people who support the channel that I could set the timeout to be a maximum of 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes between chats, and it still would scroll so quickly. So thank you very much. That Silly Writer says the first case with this lovely group was the DB case. That was great time. Good memories there, although it drives us crazy. Although we do have our mug with the objection overruled and grounds is from the DB case. We do have a few things that we like. We have some sound effects as well, which I'm going to go ahead and turn back on right now. Those are sound effects that you can trigger here in chat. We do that not during testimony, but during the breaks and things like that. It's another way that maybe you can share your opinion and inject a little bit of humor into sometimes a very heavy setting, which is all right. I appreciate that. Let's see.
Are we going to adjust subject matter jurisdiction?
There's Mr. Brooks, as you guys are all triggering the sound effects at the same time. Chris Johnson just admitted to being an addict, as did Owen. That's what we call it. That's what we call it when you click the subscribe button. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Questions? Does anyone want to call in? We can open up the phone line as well. If there's somebody who's maybe a first-time caller, I'd love to hear a voice of somebody that I've talked with in chat and text over the weeks of this trial. There's the laughter from the Mark Jensen trial. Like that sound effect. Can we rewind to the verdict? Sure. Let me go ahead and pull that up right here. Right here. How about that? Do you want to watch it in slow motion or regular speed? I think this is the beginning. So we'll turn the audio on. This is the verdict. This is a replay of the verdict for those who missed it.
Talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Okay. We're just waiting for the audio to start. This is the jury coming in. Let me fast forward just a little bit. Okay. We're going to back up. There we go.
In Ray the matter, State of Wisconsin versus Zachariah Joseph Anderson. As to the first count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of stalking Sadie Beecham as charged. As to the second count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of stalking Rosalio Gutierrez as charged. As to the third count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of intentional homicide of the first degree as charged. As to the fourth count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of hiding a corpse as charged.
Those are the four counts. And mistakenly, she was handed an extra paper, and the judge says, I put it in the wrong stack.
Yeah,
so
she
was about to read the last page, but that was a not
Members
guilty.
of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts? You have heard the clerk reading verdicts finding the defendant guilty as to each count of the information. I'm going to pull you by seat number 1 through 6 across the top, 7 through 12 across the front. If you agree with each and every one of these verdicts, finding the defendant guilty as charged, please respond by saying yes. If there is any of the verdicts with which you do not agree, even one, please respond by saying no. Were these and are these now your verdicts, number one? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6? No.
Counting's hard.
Yes.
Okay. 6, no, 7. 7. Yes. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yes.
All right. Any further requests with respect to the jury?
Not from the state.
No, Judge.
All right.
Okay, there we go. So that was that. The judge, although he finds counting hard, he does speak another language, as we've heard earlier. He was saying this.
Dati mihi Anglican pros verbis Latinus.
Yes, he knows Latin quite well, at least enough to get by in the court case. HDJ, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Appreciate you doing that. It looks like, trying to see who won those. Looks like that went to Deadhead 420. 2 Sweet Kitty Cats, Cheryl Myers, C. Griffin, and Lily. Let's see who's calling in on the burner phone.
Mimi, not you.
Hey, Mimi, not you. How are you doing? This is Recovery Addict.
Hey, I'm good. I just have 2 things really fast. And it's just questions for everybody. Well, one for you and then one for everybody else.
Sure.
Kind of. Number 1, what time do we report for duty tomorrow? And number 2, I'd be interested to hear from the juror that Zach drew it would have been a holdout. Like,
yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up just a tiny bit, but I could hear what you said. Your first question was, what time do we show up for duty tomorrow? We go live every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time. That's something we do, whether or not we have a case to follow. For the past month and a half, we have. I don't think we've ever had a case. Well, we've had like one day when there wasn't trial, and I was out working on the garage that day. But we go live every single day, every morning. So yes, you have to report for duty in the morning.
Okay. Also, I'm on the coast, and my signal sucks out here with AT&T.
Oh, but you're on the beach. You know, it's a trade-off.
I am. I am right on the beach, actually. Okay. So my second thing was the juror that Zach.
He drew the name. Yeah, he drew the name.
Yeah.
That was the what they had was they had 13 jurors. One of them was an alternate, but they didn't know which
I'm
one.
just wondering. I'm wondering how that. I know it was a girl. How she would have voted in this. Like if she would have found him guilty or not guilty. I'd be curious to find out.
Can you imagine if she goes to the press and she's like, "There's no way you could get me to vote guilty."
Right. That's what I'm really curious about her. Given that she cried when she left, even like,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know that I would have cried leaving a jury unless I knew that
she sounds like she really
was
wanted
to happen
to be on
that
it.
I didn't agree to. Yeah.
Crazy.
So that's all I had. I just wanted to say hi. I'm a North Carolinian, kind of.
Yeah, awesome.
I live here. So.
Wonderful. Mimi, not you, in chat. That's your name. Thank you so much. Appreciate you dialing in from the coast. Enjoy the beach today. The weather's going to get great.
Have
this
a good
weekend.
day.
Thank you.
It is. It's going to get in the high 70s.
Love it. All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
Right.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
All right. Who yelled, says Bonnie Castillo. I can guess. It sounded like a man's voice, and I'm guessing it was probably the gentleman who spoke about the Cubs, why they were wearing the Cubs. That would be my guess, but it is just a guess. I couldn't. I'd have to go back and match the the vocal sounds. Ivan says the beach is for wimps. The snow builds character. Ivan up in Wisconsin. I agree. I like this is the time of year to be ice fishing, but at the same time, the beach is nice. The beach is really nice, especially if you're up metal detecting. Let's see. Mimi sounds sweet. She's awesome. Thanks for calling in. I think that was her first time calling in, and it was painless. I think she'd tell you that I don't bite. It's easy. Anybody can do it. If you've been hesitating for a while, now's the time to go ahead and jump in chat or jump in on the burner phone and call. That would be great. Okay, we're going to wrap up here in a little bit. If there's any other comments we wanted to share, first of all, thank you to all the people who both gave super chats, super stickers, or gifted memberships today. It has been amazing. We are so close. We are so close to having 10,000 subscribers. We're at 9,577. So it's within reach. So maybe this week, amazing things could happen. So that is awesome. If you want to be if you want to be able to say, I was here before you were at 10,000, and now is the time to do that. Appreciate every single one of you that clicks the subscribe button. It's amazing. Eric Lawrence says, how do you buy a membership to support the channel? Eric, if you're watching on a phone, it's a little difficult. It's easier on a computer, but if you go to YouTube and the channel, the live stream, there's a join button. Also, on some phones, you might see a $ button at the bottom of chat. Sometimes the option's there. But if you want to win a membership, and not have to pay for it, because there are some amazing people like HDJ who just gifted 5 a little bit ago. You can type !gifts in chat. Only one person has to do it, and it will pull up a response link from the bot. That link will point you to a web page where you can change your settings to accept gifts on this channel. And Katrina took care of typing that for us. But you go to this link and you just change the setting to say, yes, I'd be open to receiving a gift on this channel. That puts you in the pool, so that when gift memberships are given out, you are eligible. YouTube is not going to force you to be a member of a page you don't want to be part of. And that's just a setting that prevents that from happening. Hold Your Horses has been here for, this is month number 3 now, says, thanks, Savas, appreciate you. Yes, I think Savas got you with another gifted membership, if I remember correctly. Wonderful, appreciate that. Let's see. Let's see, Judge. Oh, here we go. Carl Herschel with the 1 month mark. So the courthouse next to your name there, it changes color the longer you've been a member. So you've got a new color next to your name, Carl. Let's please stop victim blaming. Please, he was found guilty. Yes, we don't want to blame the victims at all. I realize there's some strong feelings here. Just know tomorrow we're going to reset. Typically right after a verdict, we don't go straight to another case, even though there are some live streams available. Some of us need to decompress, and sometimes, most of the time, I'm wrong about my prediction as far as what happens. Even if I'm right, I don't want that moment to turn into some sort of gloating or anything like that. That's not what this is. This is not a celebration at the end of a verdict. I do believe that is not proper. We do want justice to occur. Some of us feel there was injustice, and some feel that it was justice. But this is the system we have, and it's the best one I can think of. If we had a better system, I would be arguing for that. But can we watch something lighthearted, like snot bubbling up? You're referencing the Mark Jensen trial. The Mark Jensen trial, Lindsay, had some amazing sound bites. For those of you that missed it, it was a little spicy with some of the artwork that Mark Jensen drew, but there were some amazing sound bites like this one.
Your son just smeared feces all over my bathroom.
Yeah, of all the things you want to hear in court, that is not the one that you'd expect. But we have just some amazing sound effects that you can play versus using various commands. That one particularly is not linked to a command yet, but we might put that up. Lindsay says, please, what do you want, Lindsay? I'll consider it. I won't make any promises. See, Carl, we got your message there. Marilyn Skoll as well. Just watched the Sarah interview. It was so crazy. Are you talking about Sarah Boone with that trial coming up in April? That is going to be absolutely nuts. That is going to be crazy. This is the suitcase trial. Poor George, zipped in the suitcase, was left there and was left zipped up the night before, and wasn't the suitcase was not opened until about 11 or 12 o'clock the next day. And the video of him being in that suitcase it's awful. It's awful. To think that Sarah Boone can look at that video and look at that evidence and go to trial and say, I didn't mean to. That's a big hurdle. I think it would be very difficult for a jury to find her not guilty. But just saying, I don't have anything against Florida, but Florida has come up with some pretty interesting jury decisions in the past. Okay, you don't have to think too far back and think just too many big names to see that the jury's reached conclusions that the general public probably would have felt otherwise. But that's how the system works. This is a jury of the peers, and if they can convince somebody, that's how it works. Can the judge get in trouble for watching your live stream during the case? Tim, this is a funny question. I don't think so, because who's going to get him in trouble, really? The judge serves as he's appointed initially, and then he's reelected by the people. So if the people of Wisconsin, when he's up for a retention vote, decide that they don't like what he did, watching my live stream during the court case, then they could sort of kick him out. But other than that, unless what he did was, the cause for appeal, the appellate court's really the only way a judge gets smacked down, other than votes. If he gets voted out, that's the people saying we don't want you anymore. But the appellate court is him coming saying you did something wrong. Something you did in your court caused a problem. You made the wrong decision. It changed the outcome of the case, and thus it has to be redone. So I don't think that what he played specifically. If you go back and watch the clip of what he listened to, at the time I was saying that the district attorney should be out of the room for the balance of that witness's testimony. I know that the court heard it because we heard the defense attorney laugh when she heard that, but I'm not sure if any jurors heard that. Had I been saying something more aggressive or more prejudicial, like if I had made some claim like this jury has no clue what they're not seeing, if they only knew, they would never decide he was guilty or not guilty or something like that. If I had some sort of saying like that the jury heard, that would have been a mistrial right then. I'm so glad, A, that I wasn't saying that, and B, that the jury didn't hear something like that, or else it would be bad. But I don't think the judge can really get in trouble beyond that. I don't think anything that happened there was really worthy of a mistrial. Let's see. Lindsay says, "Sir, you know what? The clip you made, or the original clip from the live stream with the piano in the back of the opening statements. You want? Okay, I could not do that with. I know what you're talking about. I could not do that with the family's statements. That would not be respectful at all. But what she's talking about is there was a clip during the Mark Jensen trial, where the defense attorney, in her opening statements, was telling a story and pulling at the heartstrings. This poor man, you don't know, this poor man has been through so much. He is constantly ridiculed for the size of his pickles. It was weird stuff. It was like crazy stuff. And we played this music in the background. And for some reason, this music, which I had not planned on doing before as she was talking, perfectly lined up with her story, and as she the emotion that she rose and fell with the emotion, it was so good. It was so funny. There is a clip out there somewhere of the defense attorney in the Mark Jensen case with this in the background, and it was really good. There may be another trial in the works where we bring this music out again. But it was great. It was wonderful. One of my second favorite RA moments, says Red Pen. What was your first, Red Pen? Wisconsin has a judicial commission that can investigate misconduct such as this judge and recommend that the Supreme Court of the state remove or discipline him. Okay, so this is sort of like an appeals judge. I was not sure they had a judicial commission, so thank you for this clarification, DH to the JD. Apparently, he might get his hand smacked, but really, you've got a judge. He's 77 years old. He's almost done. He hardly does criminal cases at all anymore. As a matter of fact, I think his last one was the last big one. I don't know what he had in the meantime. So it's probably like they're not going to slam the door on him on the way out. He's going into just civil stuff. He's almost in retirement. So I don't think there'll be an issue. I don't think he'll be reprimanded. All I'm getting at is we have 1.5 in chat. We might as well take advantage of that with one of our best and most memorable moments. It gets everyone. I can't find that clip off the top. I don't have it saved on my rewind machine, on my replay machine. I'll have to save that later. My first is being Red Pen says my first is being live in the courtroom with Judge Bruce. Okay, that's a good one. That was amazing. It had me. The music piece is priceless. Yes, during that music, she said there was snot bubbling out of his nose. It was gross and it was funny at the same time. Can I play that music over the next caller's question? I will do that. Who's going to be the next caller? Volunteer to, and you have to, whatever your question is, you have to give it a very passionate presentation, fitting for the music. Ivan, this is probably not the time for you to call. I don't think that this music lines up with the speed that you talk, which is, I can understand just fine. But a couple people were like, wow, this guy can talk fast. He talks the same speed that his dog runs. If you don't know, Ivan has a YouTube channel dedicated to his little dog Rebel, and she is a mini pin, and her legs just fly anywhere she goes. Judge did nothing wrong. He can watch whatever he wants. Yeah, it was. Thanks, Ivan. It's his courtroom, and really he sets the rules. And most importantly, there was no objection to that. Had one of the sides objected and said that's a problem, then we'd have an issue. But now it's like too little, too late. Objections have to be timely when they're raised, and it wasn't. It is possible. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you clarifying about the Judicial Commission. DH to the JD. Okay, here's somebody we're going to put to music.
Call from.
Are you ready to jumpstart your education in coding?
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hey, you've called Recovery Addict. Who am I speaking with?
This is Whitney from Texas.
Whitney.
Thinking from Texas.
Whitney's thinking from Texas.
My question is.
Thinking from Texas. Sorry.
Dad, you bet. Your channel's great, and thank you for providing this with us. My question is, why was the defendant, and I don't even want to say his name, why did he not have any reaction?
That was a surprise. Thinking from Texas, thank you very much for your super chats. You've been extremely generous today, first of all. Let me say that, and I appreciate that. Yet there was no reaction. I would have expected,
none.
If someone was guilty.
He was stoic.
I would have expected that you would have seen tears. You would have seen shaking the head.
Well, if he was innocent, for sure.
Yeah. The music doesn't.
I saw nothing.
Yeah, it was a surprise. It's almost like a confirmation for some people. And granted, that's a little bit like the people see what they want to see at this point. Anything they see is sort of a confirmation of what they already believe. But I was surprised as well that he was stoic during it. So.
I was too, and I just wanted to call in and see if anybody wanted to respond to that and get their take. Somebody said he was turning red or was heavy breathing. I didn't see any of that. I just saw nothing.
Yeah,
it's cold, dark eyes.
I had a couple feeds going, and the one that we were showing has the most the color's the most vibrant in it. Because every computer system that routes the signal sort of adjusts the colors a little bit, and so the one we were watching did have a little more color in it than everyone else's. But I don't think he was red or anything like that. I didn't see that. So
I didn't see it either.
Thinking from Texas,
well,
Whitney.
I appreciate your
Thank
channel.
you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Good to hear from you. Can't wait to have you call in again sometime.
Oh, the Sarah Boone case. I'm all over it.
Wonderful. Can't wait to hear from you then. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
Take care.
Bye. All right, that was Thinking from Texas, Whitney, who took one for the team. Asked the question with the sad music going in the background. We have, let's see. Yeah, we have, we need to go to sleep. That's what it is. We need to relax a little bit. Everybody, we need to have a deep breath. This wasn't us, fortunately. Fortunately, we're not Sadie. We're not Zach. We're not Rosalio. We're not his mom. This isn't. We don't have to deal with the things that are going on. They're dealing with right now. And even though the trial's over, Zach's daughter still has. She needs tons of help. Everybody needs tons of help. It's just be mindful of that as we're moving on. Let's take a breath. We'll move on from this trial.
Congratulations on 9,000 and more.
Holy cow, Marilyn, thank you so much. A huge super chat. I've never had one come in that color before. that is amazing. Thank you, Marilyn. You've been a supporter for a long time, as you can see from the color of the courthouse next to your name. Appreciate you being both in chat and here with us. Appreciate that. I don't know who won the internet, Marilyn. I don't think it was you, but I'm trying to remember, and maybe you can remind me, because you're usually here pretty early on when the live stream starts. If you know where who won the internet, the first person in chat wins the internet. Do we know the verdict, Marcia? Yes, we do. I can show you a little bit of it here if you'd like. Again, let me see if I can put it in a 2-box type thing. Let's see, super source, presets. Let's do this right here with box 1. Sorry, it takes just a second to get set up. Box 1's media camera 2. Switch to there. Okay, so this is the court case that happened just a little bit, or the proceedings of the court that happened just a little bit ago. We're going to fast forward a little bit as the jury's coming in.
The first count of the information.
Oh, there we go. Here we go. We're going to back up just a second. There we go.
Zachariah Joseph Anderson. As to the first count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of stalking Sadie Beecham as charged. As to the second count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of stalking Rosalio Gutierrez as charged.
So those guilty for the 2 stalking charges. This is the order they were filed.
Count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of intentional homicide of the first degree as charged. As to the fourth count of the information, we, the jury, find the defendant, Zachariah Anderson, guilty of hiding a corpse as charged.
And those are the 4 charges. She flipped a page over, and the judge says, I shouldn't have put that in that stack. That's all you have to do.
Put it in the wrong stack.
There we go.
Yeah, you may be seated. Members of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts?
So then he goes ahead and proceeds to poll the jury, as is customary. Sometimes in some courts, the judge, instead of just going straight to polling the jury, will ask the defense if they want to poll the jury, which they always say yes. Because it's one more chance for somebody to have a change of heart on the jury and say, no, I got pressured into doing this type thing. And that did not happen. All the jurors in this case did answer and say, yes, this is our so say we won, so say we all moment. And then the last little motion, it went very quickly, but you heard Zach's defense lawyer to his left ask to have the verdict set aside and have a judgment, basically in spite of that, which is a motion that it preserves appeal a little bit, but it also is a last chance. It's a last-ditch effort. This is the Hail Mary of all Hail Marys in court, where you're saying, Judge, in spite of what the jury said, even though 12 people have come back, a jury of his peers come back and have said, yes, he's guilty. We find him guilty. I want you to go ahead and set that aside and instead say he's not guilty. I've got someone calling in right now. Let's see. Come on.
Call from Joe.
Joe, this is a recovery addict. How are you doing today?
I'm great. I just found your channel maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Yes, and I love it.
That's awesome.
I just wanted to say that I do agree with the verdict.
Okay.
The person that yelled when the murder conviction came in, I think it was his father.
Okay.
And I just actually started crying because I don't know if Zach realizes how many people he has hurt. His family, Sadie's family, Junior's family, his daughter. And I hope that he can sit back and reflect on, everything that he's done. And it's just a very sad situation.
Yeah. I can see how somebody directly connected to the case would let out an exclamation like that, even though the judge gave the warning and said, I'm not going to allow it. That person probably had to leave immediately.
Right.
But at the same time, for us, it's not a cause for celebration. We're not cheering as we would a sports team for someone to win and someone to lose. This is
that I agree.
This is someone's life who was lost and someone's life who effectively is now over, as they know it, with the incarceration, presumably for the rest of his natural life. So it's not something to celebrate. It is very serious, but at the same time, it's the process that makes our country operate the way it does. It's the enforcement side of our laws, the system that we have. So I do believe in participating. I believe in having an open system that's transparent, so we can see and trust the system. And that's the questions that this brings up amongst us. We have different opinions about the result. The way we feel about that. That's what I think we should take and act on, and act appropriately through the voting system. If we have a problem with a judge, we should become educated and vote them out or vote them in. Vote to retain them. If we have problems with the laws, we should seek out people who will create and uphold laws that line up with our beliefs and values. That's how the system works. So I believe this is part of our civic duty. Just as much as serving on a jury is to be aware of what's happening in the system around us. But I appreciate your comments, Joe. Thank you. What part of the world are you calling in from?
From Ohio.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Good to have you connect from Ohio. Is the weather beautiful up there, or will it be this weekend?
It's cloudy and drizzly today, but temperature's not so bad, so.
All right. Spring is
Yep.
coming. It's almost here.
Spring is coming. The flowers
Movie
or
here,
daffodils
Love
are
the tone
coming
you set
up,
for
so
this community.
I'm happy.
Wonderful. Joe, thank you for calling. Thanks for being a first-time caller. It's painless, right?
Oh yes, it's painless. And I just thought I would call in and just give my thoughts that this isn't a win for anybody.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
thank you, Joe. Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Anything else you wanted to say?
Bye.
Any
No,
shout outs to
thank you so
anybody?
to you.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
And your wife.
All right.
Sounds
I'll pass that.
wonderful.
I think she's watching in the other room, so I'll pass that on. Thank you, Joe. Have a great day.
Okay.
We'll see you.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Robin Potter says, newbie here. Love the tone you set for the community. Thank you so much, Robin, for the super chat. Your support is very much appreciated. Love that you found us here. Let's see. The jury failed, in my opinion, says Mutt. For a lot of you, there's a lot of room for reasonable doubt. There's a lot of room for reasonable doubt, and I don't fault you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I do feel differently, but I've told you before that I for some reason, I don't know why, I seem to have a lower bar on acting. Because the standard is that reasonable doubt would be as much doubt as it would cause you hesitation to act on this. And I look at this and I look at some comments where people say, I think he's guilty, but he's probably going to get not guilty. If you are willing to say, I think he's guilty in chat, for me, that is enough. That's an action, right? You're willing to act and put it out there and say, this is my vote. That's where I was on this one. But Gail Pett says, what time is your meeting tonight? The meeting tonight is probably canceled. We've moved it to be an activity on Friday night, on my birthday. So I've got a meeting Friday night as well as the podcast. So I'm probably going to be late for the meeting because the podcast comes first, unfortunately. We will have a podcast with Weather Watch. Thomas, we do a podcast every Friday. I believe it's going to be 8 p.m. again. And we just, for about an hour or so, we hang out and have just a blast with each other, talking about some of the news stories, the funny things, some of the serious things that have happened. And it's a live thing. So you guys, just like you're interacting here and we're able to talk with you, you get to do that during the podcast as well. Okay. Let's see. Is there any other questions I need to address right now? Let's see. I see the different opinions. I think we'll get into some of those again tomorrow. We're going to be back tomorrow. We'll have a court case to watch tomorrow. We might have to do a little bit of catch up. That means homework for me to do some research to catch you up on the case. But I appreciate everybody who's been here throughout this case. I appreciate you being civil and being able to look at this end of the day and still be friends and being willing to share your opinions and everything. This community is fantastic. And I thank you all for making it that way. And everyone who comes and said, this is amazing, this is awesome, that's you they're talking about. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. We'll go ahead and play the music because it's time. I said I'd tell you what this music was. If I'm quiet and you hold your phone up to the speaker and you say, hey Siri, what song is this? It will tell you. It's called Press Fuse on YouTube. but you can only find it if you're a content creator, which is sort of limited access right now. It is known under another name on YouTube, and it's available. It has no copyright, so anyone can use it. So this is that's the song. It's called Press Fuse, as far as I know. So anyway, I just want to say thank you all to being here. We've had quite a few people here in chat, still streaming. We're almost done. We're ending this right now. Nearly 10,000. You deserve this for being so nice. Thank you, Barbara. We're awfully close. We're at 9,606. So less than 400 to go. We'll be there. We'll be there eventually. Thank you all. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone and make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe till we go live again. We'll be back at 9 o'clock in the morning. Hope you all are able to get some rest. Let's reset. Let's give a big group hug. Hugs to everybody. Thanks. Stay safe. We'll see you in the morning. Bye.